Hey, what's going on? Luke here, and we are back to do another video talking about Rugby League Live 5. Now that the game's, well, it's not been announced, but now that the game's all but confirmed, it's time to start talking about who's going to be the cover athlete. Now, it's always a popular debate. Should it be this guy? Should it be this guy? Well, I'm going to be naming 5 players that should be on the cover of Rugby League Live 5. Now, I know there always seems to be just the one player on the cover, but I'm thinking, why can't there be more than just one player? It could be 5 players, could be 2 players, could be 3 players. I don't really care, but I feel like they could use more than just the one player. However, I do understand just having the one guy on there. They probably have to pay less money or whatever. I understand just having one person on there. But I think it'd be pretty cool to sort of go down the FIFA route. Back in the day, I remember going and getting FIFA. Used to have Wayne Rooney, used to have Ronaldinho on the front. I know in recent years, they've only ever had like the one person on it, but they used to have sort of one European guy and one English guy. Actually, that totally didn't make sense. I should say one sort of European-based player, like your Ronaldinho is playing for Barcelona at the time, or someone like that, and then they'd have someone who plays in the English Premier League, which was Wayne Rooney. Now, I understand that England is a part of Europe, or at least it was back then, but you get my point with what I'm trying to say. So I feel like they could do something like that. They could even add a Kiwi guy in there, maybe have a Kiwi one and an Australian one. I know in the past they've had completely different covers, like Shaun Johnson's been on the cover of the New Zealand one. Meanwhile, Cameron Smith was on the cover of the Australian one. Things like that. But realistically, it's just a cover. It's not that big of a deal, but I still thought it'd be fun to go over 5 players who could be on the cover of Rugby League Live 5. Now, starting off with the first player, I'm going to be going with Josh Addo-carr. Now, he's at the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. He's been playing straight at the Melbourne Storm beforehand, and he's been playing for New South Wales. He's been playing for Australia. He's just launched an apparel company, Let's Try It. It looks really cool, but he is all about marketing. He's super popular, one of the most popular players in the whole NRL. He's got the Indigenous background. He's got the fanfare of everybody in Sydney. He's got the fanfare from people outside of Sydney. He's just a lovable guy, and I'd love to see him on the cover of Rugby League Live 5. He's also a guy who's just an excitement machine, whether it's on the field or off the field. And I can just imagine all the promo they could do with him. They could get him playing the game. They could get him in some TV advertisements or something. They could just get him promoting it. Like I said, he's one of the most marketable guys in the NRL. He's got the Indigenous background, and he's super, super likable. Being a Bulldogs fan, I can already feel a lot of other people who are like, yeah, I don't mind the Bulldogs. Look, they got the Fox, they got Josh Addo-carr. I actually don't mind him. Even down to when he was playing for New South Wales. Before he had signed with the Bulldogs, he was my favourite player for the Blues, apart from any Bulldogs players who were in there. Even in terms of other supporters, they all love Josh Addo-carr. So him being on the cover, I feel like that could be a very, very popular one. Whether they want to put a winger on the cover, I don't know. They tend to put like fullbacks and just important players. Now, I know you can argue that the wingers are more important in 2022, but at the same time, they're still not a spine player, and that seems to be who they go for. But if they were going to chuck a couple players on the cover, I could easily see the Fox being one of them. Now, onto the second player that we're talking about. It's going to be James Tedesco from the Sydney Roosters. Now, I feel like this one explains itself. In the previous years, we had Adam Reynolds on the front cover, and he wasn't exactly the best player in the game. But James Tedesco, for the last couple of years, since the previous game, he has been the best player year after year. Well, not last year, but all the years before that, he was easily the best player, the best fullback, best player in the world, was winning Dally-Ms, winning premierships. And I feel like if I made this video a year ago, I would have said James Tedesco, but there's a lot more options these days. He's not out and out the best fullback in the game. You can make an argument for it, but I think Tommy Turbo's got him covered there. But James Tedesco is super marketable. He's the New South Wales captain. When Cherry Evans gets dropped from Australia, he's going to be the Australian captain, you would imagine. Look, James Tedesco has been around for a long time. He is a household name in the NRL, and you chuck him on the cover of Rugby League Live 5, you're going to get a lot of eyes on it. Even casuals, they're like, oh, that's James Tedesco. That might be cool. I might pick that one up. So, look, I think James Tedesco can bring a lot of eyes to it. He's been signed by some big, big companies. I think Nike did a big promotion for them. He's got a big name, James Tedesco. So getting him on the cover, I think it would be a big win for Rugby League Live 5. Also, I think it'd be a good representation of how dominant he's been in the NRL over the last 5 years or so, especially since the last game came out. When that game came out, he was pretty good, but he wasn't the elite fullback. Right now, he definitely is the elite fullback, and he definitely deserves to be on the front cover of Rugby League Live 5. Now, moving on to the third player, we're going to step away real quick from the fullbacks and the wingers and just the outside backs, and we're going to move into a halfback. I think you know where I'm going with this one. Not Daly Cherry Evans. Nathan Cleary from the Penrith Panthers. Now, you can argue that he is the best player in the comp. I'm going to talk about Tom Trbojevic soon. Cat's out of the bag with that one. But Nathan Cleary, I would say, is the #1 player in the NRL at the moment. Just won a premiership with the Penrith Panthers. Has led led the New South Wales Blues to multiple State of Origin victories in a time where the Blues weren't winning many State of Origin series. So Nathan Cleary, he really is the total package. And to complete that total package, he should be on the cover of Rugby League Live 5. I feel like he'd be super popular. He's popular with the kids. He's popular with the adults. He just won a premiership. So he is popular, but he's also got the ability to back it up. And the fact that you can argue that he is the best player in the world. Yes, he didn't get the Dally M, but he did get the Clive Churchill. And I feel like this year, he's probably going to win the Dally M. He's definitely going to be in amongst it every year. Well, that's as long as the Panthers are in the top 4, and I think they're going to be this year. I think they're going to be for many years. But this Panther side, I feel like they need to be featured heavily in this new Rugby League Live 5 game. They have been very, very good for the last couple of years. They haven't won the premiership every year, but they have been in amongst it. They got beaten in the grand final the previous year. They won it last year, and I feel like they're going to be in amongst it again this year. I feel like they should be represented on the front cover, and Nathan Cleary is the perfect one to do it. He's a club captain, albeit with Isaiah Yeo, but he's the club captain. Like I said, he plays for New South Wales. He's probably going to be playing for Australia as soon as the next Kangaroo side gets picked. I love Nathan Cleary, and I think he should be on the front cover. Now we move on to the 4th player of this list. He is a fullback, but it's not Tom Trbojevic. We'll get to him later. It is Latrell Mitchell. Now I know he is somewhat controversial, but he is a very popular player. He's a very explosive player. He's a very highlights reel player. He is just a great player in general. Obviously, he got some off-field antics. Obviously, he needs to control himself on the field a little bit better, gets suspended a lot, and he cost his team a grand final possibly. He didn't get to play because he was suspended. They end up making the grand final. They don't win. If he plays, do they get the win? Possibly. I just got done talking about Nathan Cleary being a premiership winner. Could have been doing the same for Latrell Mitchell right now. Obviously, he's already won premierships with the Roosters, but in terms of him playing for the Rabbitohs, he plays for a very marketable club. He plays for the biggest club in the NRL, you can argue, at least in terms of members and all that sort of stuff. The Rabbitohs are definitely up there. I don't know if they are number 1, but they're definitely right up there. Even in terms of having Russell Crowe behind them, having Hollywood people wearing the Rabbitohs jersey, having just random people in general pop up in random sports and random places just wearing a Rabbitohs jersey. They are super popular, and Latrell Mitchell is the face of the Rabbitohs, especially now that the previous cover star, Adam Reynolds, is gone from the club. I think Latrell Mitchell is a big possibility of being on the cover of Rugby League Live 5. Even Adam Reynolds, I could see them chucking him on the cover, moving to the Broncos, but look, Latrell Mitchell, I think if you're going to represent the Rabbitohs, I think he is the one to go for. Then the final player we're going to be talking about, you already know it, I already mentioned it, Tom Trbojevic. I think it really speaks for itself. He's a reigning Dally M Player of the Year. Now, I know that doesn't exactly mean everything in terms of a cover star. I mean, Jack Whiten was the previous Dally M winner before Tommy Turbo, but at the same time, Jack Whiten, he is just not the player of Tom Trbojevic. He's a pretty good player, but Turbo is a whole nother level. He's been absolutely killing it. If for previous years, we always knew he could do it, but this past season, he really put it together. He stayed fit. He got Manly going in a season that I thought they were going to compete for the wooden spoon. In fact, I think I tipped them for the wooden spoon, and they got nowhere near close to it, and everything revolved around Tom Trbojevic. Will Rugby League Live 5 revolve around Tom Trbojevic? It's a big possibility. I think if you make the game, he's probably going to be the highest rated player, him or Nathan Cleary. And I feel like if you're going to have your cover athlete, you need them to be the best player in the game pretty much. I know in previous years that hasn't exactly been the case. I know Karen Smith beforehand probably was, but Adam Reynolds was the previous one, and he definitely wasn't the highest rated player. But I think having Tom Trbojevic as your cover star, you're not going to have any controversy. He doesn't really do too much off the field. His biggest controversy is racing people in the streets and falling in showers and all that sort of stuff. So it's pretty much a clean skin. I know Tedesco's had a few controversies. Latrell's obviously had some controversy on the field. Even Nathan Cleary's had some controversy off the field as well, with the whole TikTok sort of thing, supporting Tyrone May. I can see reasons why those guys won't get picked. Josh Addo-Carr, he's a winger. I can see him not getting picked, but I think your most realistic one is Tom Trbojevic. I think Nathan Cleary is a big shout too, but Tommy Turbo, if you're just going to pick one player, I think he needs to be the one. But if you're going to have a couple players in there, chuck all these players in there, at least 3 of them. But how good would it be to see 5 players on the front there? Kind of like the thumbnails that I do. Chuck them all in there, why don't you? Anyways, those are my thoughts on who should be on the front cover of Rugby League Live 5. Let me know in the comment section below. Who do you think should be on the cover of Rugby League Live 5? Did I hit the nail on the head, or did I miss someone? I feel like there's plenty of guys who could be on the front cover, but I did say I was only picking 5 players, and why not all 5 of them be on the cover? But let me know in the comment section below, who do you think is going to be on the cover of Rugby League Live 5, or who should be on the cover of Rugby League Live 5? Anyways, I better wrap up this video. Thanks for watching, guys. If you happen to enjoy the video, make sure you go ahead and leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Also, make sure sure you turn on the notification bell. Don't rely on the sub boxes, they're super dodgy. Use the notification bell and never miss any of my videos. Also, go ahead and give me a follow on social media. It's on the screen right now. It's Mr. Luke on YT. I feel like you know the drill at this point. Go ahead, give me a follow. My Snapchat and TikTok are Mr. Luke on YT. My Facebook's just Mr. Luke, but everything else, Mr. Luke on YT. Give me a follow, give me an ad, and that's where I'm going to wrap up this video. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more content on the channel. Plenty of stuff to be uploaded. Being back on the grind, so stay tuned for more, and I'll see you for the next one. See yous.